I'm going to show you two things that really kind of shocked me. Number one, I'm going to talk about my pressure washer. I can't believe it started. You're going to have to see that. It's been stuck up in the barn for over a year, maybe year and a half. I can't believe the thing started, and it's over 3.5 years, 4 years old. The next thing is I'm going to talk about this stain that I'm using. It's now probably the only stain I use on just about everything. I absolutely love it. It's a 2-coat process, and what they say is that it gives you the look of hardwood floors outdoors, and it does. And I've used this stain several times now, and I'm really happy with it. Also talk about cleaning decks. The difference between just cleaning a deck and pressure washing and restaining. So I got a lot to cover, but I'm going to try and run through it as quickly as possible. I will link to, if you want to link to the pressure washer that I've recommended for years. I have done tons of pressure washing videos. I've shown driveways, pools, sidewalks, decks. I've shown all that, but it always amazes me every time that I come back to these pressure washers, which I've consistently recommended, and they hold up extremely well. Anyways, I'll put links in the description below. I'll try and link to everything because there's always little details that I miss. If I miss something, let me know. Drop a comment down below. Okay, so where are we going to start? First, let's talk about cleaning a deck, because there's a huge difference between just cleaning a deck and pressure washing a deck. Pressure washing a deck can often damage wood. It can remove stain. You're probably going to remove some of the current stain that's on there. If you just want to clean a deck, here's what you do. Early in the morning, right now, it is 7:30. It's cool. The sun is not pounding on my deck. This is when you want to clean a deck, and it's simple. Take a hose end bottle of 30-second cleaner, spray the whole deck, wait about 5 minutes, rinse it off. If it's clean, fine. If not, spray it again with a 30-second cleaner and get a bristle brush on a handle and go to those spots where you have that black and green mold and just give it a scrub. Scrub those down a little bit, rinse it off, your deck will be clean. It really is that simple. I did a video years ago about using 30-second cleaner on vinyl house siding. It's shocking. You don't do anything. All you do is you spray it on once, let it sit, spray it on again, let it sit for a few minutes, rinse it off, and everything turns perfectly white. And I think that video has close to 3 million views. It's a phenomenal product. Anyways, that's what I like to use on the decks. And I use that down at the beach house and over here too. But I will tell you that once you fire up a pressure washer, there's a good chance that not only are you going to remove some of the stain, but you could damage the wood. So what I'm going to show you today, instead of using a tip, now let me explain, and I explain this in a bit, but wood has a grain to it. It has sort of a hard layer and then a soft pulp, hard layer, soft pulp. And when you use a pressure washer tip, you can actually eat away that soft pulp, and what ends up happening is you have this sort of bumpy waviness in your wood grain. It happens over the years anyways, but that sort of waviness can hold a lot of water and dirt, and that's what you don't want to do. So I'll show you using a surface cleaner, which most people use on a driveway. I use a surface cleaner on this deck to clean it off, and man, nothing blows around. I've used surface cleaners, I've preached them for years and years. If you have a real professional come out to clean your driveway, they're going to use a surface cleaner, and they make them anywhere from 14 all the way up to like 30 inches. One of the keys to the surface cleaner is making sure that you match up the right size and right type of surface cleaner to the right PSI and gallons on your pressure washer. The pressure washer I recommend is absolutely perfect for every homeowner. You could even take it out and do some commercial work with it. That's how powerful it is. You'll never want any more, but at the same time, you can still, I'm 62 years old, I can still pick that thing up and put it in the back of my truck if I need to. It's not extremely heavy. So once you pressure wash, what's going to happen is you're going to see areas where the stain and wood and everything else comes off, and you're going to be like, man, I really need to restain. Well, how do I restain a deck? Especially, a lot of decks are done with water-based stains nowadays, and I used to recommend a lot of water-based stains. I still use them. This whole fence is done with a water-based stain, and it lasts for years. Well, you can put oil on top of a water-based stain. You just can't put a water-based stain on top of oil, typically is the rule. This stain's a little bit different. This stain by Cabot, it's called Cabot Gold. I forget this, maybe I'll put a link to it. The color I'm using is called Moonlit Mahogany. I love it. It's a dark brown with a hint of maybe just a tone of red. It's gorgeous. But what you do is, your first coat you put on, will penetrate and seal the wood. You let that completely dry for 2 days, come back and put a light coat on top of that, and now it seals and puts a top coating on it. And it really does look like, it looks like hardwoods on the outside of your house, wherever it is. It's phenomenal. So I'll go ahead and I'll show you that footage. Again, I was just going to do a pressure washing and quick stain video, but I was like, man, I need to get deeper into this because I know I'm going to cause some questions. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here and I'm going to show you the end results. Let's go look at that. Okay, so the issue with this deck is that it stays dark. It doesn't get sunlit till the afternoon. And then in the afternoon, it gets scorching hot. So in the corner, I get some of that black mold buildup. And then in the afternoon, this deck gets so hot you can't even stay out here. So I have Austin, who's a really good finish carpenter, who did all the shiplap inside the house for us on all the ceilings. He came out yesterday, and what we're going to do is we're actually going to tie into these main posts, and we're going to extend out a roof here so this area gets shaded. That's going to be a huge improvement, because in the afternoon you cannot stand on this deck. I mean, it's like 150 degrees. Let me move my UPS blocker. I didn't want them putting packages on my deck. Oh. So right away, here's the finished product. And what you can see, wipe off my boots. There's water on it right now. What you can see is it really does have a beautiful look to it. It has sort of a sheen to it. But man, that is absolutely gorgeous. So the original color that we had on it, this lower portion here is the original color, and that's actually a water-based stain. And because it's not taking the rain and the sunlight, this bottom part looks good, so I didn't touch that. I just did the upper surface. Again, I'll come out here, I'll show you in a second. I'm running the surface cleaner over it. I clean it all off. To get the little edges, I use a twirly tip. I don't know the real name for it. I do some of the edges, and then I put the one coat on, and then I put another coat. Now the problem I had, it's summertime, and I really need to do this in the afternoon. Well, what happens in the afternoon? Thunderstorms pop up, weird little thunderstorms. So sure enough, the day that I decide to stain this, guess what happens? I start to see these little pops of rain around, and I do not want rain on that while it's still wet. So I got some garden plastic, those sheets. I had a roll of that garden plastic, and I literally came out here and I covered this whole deck out, and I left it covered until I knew the next day, later the next day, no more rain coming. I took it off and it dried fine. And the plastic will not stick to this, by the way, because it's an oil base. And you don't want to leave that plastic on too long, because that plastic does hold moisture from the ground. So as soon as that rain passes, take that plastic off. I just used stapled. I stapled it around. Then I let it dry for a full 24 hours. I wanted that to fully dry. Then I went back with a very light coat, just a real light coat. I use, matter of fact, here's the brush. I use these large deck brushes, and they are phenomenal for putting stain on. You can spray it if you want. We sprayed it on the chicken house up there, and it looks gorgeous. But man, that is a wonder. I'm absolutely sold on the stain. So let me go ahead and show you me actually doing this now. So if this thing starts, I will be absolutely shocked. So this is one of my old Simpsons. I've used this for years at the other house. Literally, look at all the dust on this thing. I mean, this has been in the barn almost 2 years, untouched, a year and a half. The last time I think we used this, I actually think we power washed the dock to stain it. So what am I doing today? I have a stain on here that I'm not happy with, and this is one of the water-based stains. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to blast this off, clean this up. You can see I've got a lot of just black mold on here and stuff. And what I'm going to do is, if I can get a good solid day of sun and dry, I'm going to have Jesse come out probably and do this in that, God, what's that stain? I just texted a picture of it to my wife. Aussie Gold, is it? Anyways, It's the same stuff we're putting on the chicken house. It's really, really dark brown. It looks really good. But it's an oil base, and it allows you to do an initial sealing coat and then a top finishing coat. We use it also on the floors inside the cabin where we put down deck boards. We used it there too. But this stuff is just, it's not doing well. I need something a lot tougher. So spectacles, testicles, wallet, watch. I'm gonna hook this up and pull it. I don't know what's gonna happen. Choke is on. Speed is up. Good Lord, man. The same thing happened at the beach house. Down at the beach house, I have one of these that just sits for like a year at a time. Dude, these, I'll put a link to these down below. I'm going to use a surface cleaner on this so I don't necessarily scar the wood up top. I'll have to use a tip, maybe a little bit down below. But this is a surface cleaner, is what you normally use on a driveway. It's very gentle, but man, it cleans well. I've done tons of videos. You can see my pressure washing videos on driveways and sidewalks. But it really works well on wood so you don't scar that wood. When you're pressure washing wood, you have grain. You have a hard line, and then you have a soft pulp line. Then you have a hard line, you know, those growth rings. And you can actually scar the wood and make it really rough and dippy. So the surface cleaner does a really good job. Okay, so here's what I'm talking about. See this? This is a hard piece of wood, and this is soft, hard, soft. And if you use a tip, you're going to have these bumps in here. You're going to eat away and really expose this, which you don't want. But I got to tell you, that stain is only, what, 2 years old? And this surface cleaner just really opened it up nice. So you can see one of my problems, that corner only gets sun a couple hours a day. So I want to get off this. I want to let the sun hit this. This gets really hot. I mean, this gets really hot in the afternoon. We're thinking about building an actual roof out here. But right now, I want to get off of this and let it dry. And hopefully tomorrow late afternoon, if we don't have any more rain, we can actually come out and stain this with the oil base. All right, so it's the next day. Rachel's up in the garden working. John's down here. He's cutting this back that we did a heavy core aeration on. He's chopping everything up on a low level. We have thunderstorms coming in possibly tonight. So I'm running a risk here, but I've let this dry out and I've got fans on it. And I'm going to put a light coat on here, and hopefully in the afternoon the sun will come in. I'm gonna keep the fan blowing on it and it'll dry enough where it should be okay. But like I said, I use this gold, Cabot gold, and this color is phenomenal. I love this. Definitely a time for knee pads here. Oh, gosh, I hate staining floors. But anyways, that's all done. Looks good. Just pray for several hours of sunshine before the storms come in tonight. Like I said, I put it on real light. It probably wasn't smart. I probably should have waited till next week. But I didn't want to leave this bare wood open. And 2 days ago it said 5% chance of rain and we had a big thunderstorm. So who knows? I mean, you just never know. Worst case scenario, I do have some plastic sheeting in here. If I see that it's still a little bit tacky, I could come out and put sheeting over it. Of course, I run the risk of some of it pulling off, but oh, okay. So 2 days ago I stained this. I covered it up because we were going to get some rain. It has got a good 2 days to dry now. It's beautiful weather. It's 69, 70 degrees. And this is totally dry. But I want you to see if you can see the difference here. This is the second coat. Here's where the old first coat stops. And I've started to stain over there too. So this is one of the only stains that you will do in a two-step process. First coat will penetrate and seal. The second coat seals and gives you that upper finish. I really, really like this. Now, the second coat, I am just barely brushing it on to make sure I get good coverage. I don't want it too thick because it's not going to be penetrating. It's going to be a top coat. I have learned that. So your second coat, just get your brush. Just get enough brush on there, enough on there just to do it, and just sort of brush by. Let me show you real quick. I might as well show you instead of telling you. So as an example, I'm using, I love these big deck brushes, by the way. So here's an area that I haven't done. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to barely touch, which you normally don't do. Just get enough stain on here, and just very lightly. And you can tell where you stopped because it's a little bit tacky. That's the good thing about the second coat. You just, when you hit that tackiness, you know that you've already reached there. And that's all I'm doing. That's the second coat, nice and light. And man, what a difference from there to there. Well, I know it's bright sunlight, but oh my goodness. Can you see how nice that looks? That is gorgeous. It'll dry. That looks like a piece of furniture, to be honest. I will never use another stain on a deck again. Matter of fact, I'm using it on the chicken coop. That's how much I love this stain. God, what a great stain. Holy cow. If you're a professional painter, offer this as an option. It's going to cost the customer probably twice as much in labor, but man, it's worth it. It is so nice. This is a two-step process. A link to the Cabot stain, but you get that first coat on there, fairly decent. Of course, a bug just flew on. Fairly decent, and then what are you doing there, buggy? And then the second coat is a lighter coat. Man, I'm shocked. In a minute, I'm going to take you out and I'm going to show you the finished stain project, the finished stairs. They look absolutely gorgeous, by the way. But you can spray this stain as well too, just so you know. I put it on with a brush, but you can spray it. We have sprayed several different things with it. I want to show you the chicken coop. This is chicken coop 2.0. The original one with 30 girls is over here. This one's going to have 15 girls approximately. But we use the same stain on this. So this is that same stain in here. And man, let me tell you what. And I told Jesse, I said, I got red clay dirt all on here. But I told him, I said, I want you to soak this. I want you to put it on super, super heavy. And it took, he sprayed it on here super heavy. And it took a good 2 or 3 days for that tackiness to disappear. So if you spray it on heavy, just be aware, it is going to take a while to dry. But I'm telling you, nothing will penetrate this. This stuff is amazing. And the color of it, I absolutely love. Now, over here, I haven't finished painting it yet. I don't think you can see it. It's actually on the outside. The trim, I actually paint the trim black on this, just like I did over there. So these trim pieces I'll paint with Rust-Oleum oil-based black. And that black with this brown really pops. It makes it look really nice, so it's a nice finish. But just so you know, that's sprayed on, that is not brushed on, and it looks fantastic. So this is the finished product. Let me run you through these steps again real quick. Number 1, pressure wash your deck with a surface cleaner. Let it sit and dry for 24 hours. You want that wood dry. You don't want to come out here early in the morning when there's a bunch of dew on it and put an oil-based stain. So unfortunately, you got to let it sit, you got to let it dry, and probably do the staining in the heat of the afternoon, unfortunately. Next, what you're going to do is go ahead and let that dry for a good at least 24, if not 48 hours. You want that first coat fully dry. Then come back and put your second coat on. I put it on light. I don't want to put it on super heavy, because now you've got oil-based stain on top of oil-based stain, and you can get a lot of tack on there. That second coat, depending on how heavy you put it on, will take a good 24 hours to dry off as well too. But the finished product is definitely worth it. I mean, there's a little bit of dew on here from this morning. You can see there's a little bit of water on here. But let me tell you what, if you don't think that looks absolutely gorgeous, I don't know what to say. That is just absolutely gorgeous. Now, I have refinished and retreated decks a long time. I've used a ton of different stains, and I have never had this kind of result. I'm sold on it, absolutely sold on it. Again, it's the Cabot Gold, and it's an oil-based stain. I got it at Lowe's. This is called Moonlit Mahogany. But I hope this video has helped you guys, because I'll tell you what, I've never had this kind of result from a stain. It is a lot of labor, as you can tell. And if you got a big deck, it's going to take you some time. But this is worth it. That's it. Talk to you later. Doc.